Welcome to our weekly webcast. I want to wish all of you a happy new year. I'm here in beautiful Mexico right now, Puerto Vallarta. It's stunning. I also want to let you all know that I'm launching a new gold and platinum MBA program that's going to be on January 30th. That's every Monday and Tuesday starting January 30th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific time. To learn more, please go to harounmba.com. And without further ado, let's start this weekly webcast. I'm looking forward to answering your questions, and thank you. I have a very special announcement for all of you. I'm about to unveil a massive new addition to my MBA program, and all students that have already signed up for my MBA program or are going to sign up for my MBA program will get it for free. I'm adding, wait for it, programming. Now, I used to be a programmer when I worked at Accenture back in the 90s, and I'm such a nerd that on the side I've been coding for many years. And so I'm adding my first of many technology electives to the MBA program. To find out more about it, please join me on Tuesday. You can see at the bottom here. Join me on Tuesday, January 10th at 5 p.m. for an open house. And I'll talk about it in more detail. And everybody attending will get many prizes as well. And I hope you enjoy it. All right, without further ado, let me get to your questions and thank you. All right, first up, and by the way, I'm going to be teaching in an object-oriented way. I'm such a nerd. The way that programming is taught is it's so confusing, eh? So I'm using a ton of props. It's going to be a lot of fun. And if you meet me in real life, I'm a tiny man. Okay. And I'm so sorry for my dad humor. Don't sign up for my MBA program if you don't want to hear my dad humor, because it's awful. It's embarrassing. Okay. All right, let me kick it off with a question here from Chetan, who wrote, Professor Chris, I'm very excited for the upcoming REITs and programming courses to be added to the MBA program. Thank you. And Chetan is one of my wonderful MBA students. You wrote, please let me know if I can get any tentative dates. Yeah. So the programming module, it's massive. I'm working 24/7 on it, recording it right now. I've been working on this for ages. That's going to hit your MBA program and everybody's MBA program by the end of January. So it'll be there by the latest January 30th. And January 30th is the start date for the next gold and platinum MBA program, which is going to be every Monday and Tuesday. For more details on that, just go to harounmba.com. Now, in terms of your next question on REITs, I have REITs actually in the MBA program. So all you have to do is go to learn.harounventures.com, okay? And then you search for REITs, and you'll see where to access this in the MBA program. Okay, so you click any of these links here, it'll take you there for people in my silver, gold, and platinum MBA program. Now, all the content I add to the MBA program, all the new stuff like programming, REITs, real estate stuff, and I will be adding a lot more real estate stuff soon. All that stuff is free forever for anybody that has or will sign up for my MBA program. It keeps growing, keeps getting bigger. Yeah. Okay, next up, the question is, what are the barriers to entry for a company to enter the cryptocurrency trading platform like Coinbase? Yeah, well, the barriers to entry are obviously technology know-how, as well as patents on how their infrastructure is set up. It's very difficult to set up a platform, though. And Fred Ursum set up the first notable platform in terms of cryptocurrency trading exchanges and wallets with Coinbase. So it's all about the number of users, and you'll be able to raise money from investors if you have a massive number of subscribers. Let me give you an example. So Evan Spiegel, who started Snapchat, he visited with tons of venture capitalists here in the Bay Area years ago to try how to raise money for Snapchat. And when he was talking to venture capitalists on Sand Hill Road here in the Bay Area, what he did was he explained Snapchat. And all these old VC people were like, I don't get it. Why would I want to take pictures of my kids and then have it disappear? It doesn't make sense. I'm not investing. And then Evan came back to the same investors a couple of years later, and he said, remember me, I'm still trying to raise money. And the venture capitalist asked him, oh, cool. How many subscribers do you have? And he said, well, we have about 6 million. And the same venture capitalists were like, oh my God, that's the best business model ever. So the most important thing to monitor is, number one, a platform that's in place. And number two, most importantly, the number of users or subscribers. Okay. All right, next up, question is Class A and preferred shares the same thing? It all depends. So technically the way it works, you got Class A and Class B. Class A is usually better, right? Usually you have more voting rights, and quite often you don't get diluted as much. But it all depends, because every company refers Class A and B differently. You have to read the tea leaves, meaning go to sec.gov to read more about those class offerings. And I'll show you an example in a second with Warren Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway, and Class A versus Class B. Sorry, let me slow down. I had too much coffee this morning, but I'm excited. But generally speaking, if you invest in a company and you have preferred shares, you won't get diluted as much. Now, if a company goes bankrupt, which it looks like Bed Bath & Beyond just filed for a Chapter 11, or it will be very soon, the first person to get their money back, the person with the senior claim, are the debt holders, the bondholders, okay? Then the preferred shareholders. Then the lowest of the low, hi there, are the common shareholders. And when you buy stock in a company on the stock market, it's usually common shares. The name common means you don't get preferential treatment. So let me give you an example of this. Let me go and show you Berkshire, but every company is a little bit different, okay? So I'm going to go to finance.yahoo.com and I'll show you Berkshire Hathaway. So Berkshire has A shares and B shares. The only difference is the A shares have more voting rights only because it never split the stock, okay? So this is the A shares here. And with the A shares, you'll see the market cap is $685.8 billion, okay? Remember that number? Because if you look at the B shares here, Berkshire B has a market cap that's pretty close but slightly higher, 686. And so the math on that is 0.13%. This has a 0.13% market cap higher, which is nothing really. And the ARBs will take care of making sure that they trade more or less in line, meaning if this gets out of whack, you'll have event-driven hedge funds that'll short the A and then go along the B class here. But the bottom line is you have to read all the financial documents because every company refers to Class A and Class B a little bit differently. Yeah, but generally speaking, when you buy stocks in the stock market, it's common shares. Okay. Next up, Chetan wrote, should I read sectoral reports just like the 10K and S1? Where do I get to read a sectoral reports from? Yeah, so it's difficult to find sectoral reports. One thing you can do in order to size up the market, the total addressable market, is you can do a search on the sector and then reports and then consulting from like McKinsey or Gartner or Forrester. Right? These are big consulting companies that release massive reports and they give away a lot of it for free as a little teaser so that big companies can hire them to do consulting work. So you can look for sector reports from McKinsey or Gartner on whatever sector it is. And Gartner has what's called a magic quadrant to kind of chart and show you which tech companies are better than others. I hope that answers your question. If it didn't, please let me know. Okay, next question is, why does Coinbase's IPO not have an underwriter in it? Rather, it has financial advisors. Yeah. So what Coinbase did when it went public, and the IPO was a disaster. It's down 90% from its IPO. The market cap is only $8 billion now. I say only because it was $83 billion about a year ago. So what Coinbase did was, rather than hiring investment banks to go public, they did what's called a direct offering. And a direct offering means you're not creating new shares, right? So they didn't raise money through the IPO for general corporate purposes like expansion. What they did was insiders were selling. It was all secondary shares, right? And that's usually a red flag, right? So it was all insiders selling, like venture capitalists, as well as executives in the company like Fred Ursum, who I met a number of times. I had in my office back in 2013 a few times on panels when I worked in venture capital. That's a red flag. Now, if you want to do research on a company that's going public, always read the S1 filing. Okay, so if you look at Coinbase's IPO S1 filing from sec.gov, we'll go there in a second. But you'll notice that on the bottom of the prospectus, you don't have any investment bankers listed. This is Facebook's IPO from 2012, which is a disaster. Morgan Stanley led this. Goldman was top right. So they did a direct offering. Now I'm going to show you really quickly how to do research on Coinbase. So you all have to please do what I'm showing you. Let's go to sec.gov. Okay, so before you invest in any company, I want you to read all the financial documents you see here. So I'll search here for ticker coin, and you can pull up what's called the S1. The S1, like that Facebook document I just showed you, is a document that by law you have to file before you go public. Okay, so right here is the S1 for Coinbase. Now the Facebook IPO on the bottom there, I showed you that you had investment bankers on the syndicate. It's not listed here. This here was what's called a direct offering. Okay, it was a direct offering, and you do search on direct, you'll see 100 entries here or so. Okay, Actually, 14 to be exact, a direct listing. Now, for more details on Coinbase, and what they did was after their IPO, they did a massive convert, meaning a convertible debt offering. And just go to YouTube and do a search on Haroun Coinbase, and you can learn more about this. So they did a $1.2 billion convert offering. Let's talk about cryptocurrency company. And I'll mute this here. But they did a massive convert, which means debt that converts into equity eventually. It's $1.2 billion. And that's how they raise money after the IPO. Let me just close this so I don't screw up bandwidth on my computer. And if you have more questions about that, please let me know. Thanks as always. Okay. Next up question is, where do I find weekly market updates? Yeah. So there's two sources if you want to read about market updates. Number one is WSJ.com. That's wallstreetjournal.com. Okay, it's a great paper, but it's US focused a little bit. If you want something more global, which I prefer, you can go to FT.com. That's the Financial Times. And don't read any articles that will tell you what to buy stock-wise. Just read articles that tell you how the market works, or how commodities work, etc., or what the Fed may or may not do. And I'll show you how to get the FT for free. Don't pay for it. Okay. Now you know why I don't have any sponsors. Okay, I don't want them. So you go to ft.com here, okay? And if you want to read an article, so let's go down here. Let's say you want to read about this. Amazon plans to cut 18,000 jobs. So I click on it. It's like, no, you have to pay. You don't have to pay. And here's why. You take this here. I hope it still works. You search for this directly in Google, and then you click here. Oh, they changed it. Let me go here to a new private window and try it again. This worked for years. Okay, let me try here. Okay, good. I figured it out. Good. All right. So now you can actually access this for free, the entire article. Why does this work for the FT? Because the Financial Times does not have a sophisticated paywall here. And basically, they make it free if you search for the title, so that from an SEO perspective, search engine optimization perspective, the rankings will come up higher in Google. Okay, I'm glad it's still free. It doesn't work with all websites, though. Okay. Okay, next up, JM. Hey, JM wrote, when looking at the relative strength index, meaning the RSI, what time period and frequency do you use? So let me just take a step back and discuss this from a high-level perspective. When you invest in companies, I want you to look at fundamentals first, valuation second, and a distant third. After you've done the fundamental valuation work, a distant third is technical analysis. Okay, a lot of people, during COVID, when everyone was at home and bored in the house bored, they became day traders because the market was going up a lot. And then what happened was that was a disaster. A lot of people now are giving up on that. Please don't be a day trader. I promise you it doesn't work. How do I know it doesn't work? Because I can't name a single day trader that's been successful, but I can name thousands of investors that have been long-term focused. But to answer your question, with the relative strength index, I like to look at it usually on a 6-month basis. And I just look for support and resistance levels. And I look to see if a stock is overbought or oversold. And so if I have a stock in my portfolio, and I never have more than 5% of my capital in any one stock from a risk management perspective, but if I have a stock in my portfolio and it grows from 5% to 10% and it's massively overbought, I will trim it based on the technicals. Also, when I'm starting a new long-term position, I love to buy stocks that have an RSI of 20. Okay, I love to buy what are called broken charts, but not broken stocks. And for more details on that, please let me know. In my MBA program, which you can learn about at harounmba.com, I talk about all this in a lot more detail, and I provide you with a gazillion spreadsheets and templates and tools, arrows in your quiver, so to speak, so you can answer any business question. Okay. All right, next up, okay, Kevin, how are you? Kevin wrote, good morning from Lakeland, Florida. Good morning to you too as well. Happy New Year. I think you sent me an email saying Happy New Year. Same to you as well. Thank you. Okay. All right, next up, I got Mikhail who wrote, what kind of qualities do you look for in a mentor? Yeah. So I like to look for people that are living my perfect life, career-wise, and they're usually older, but I also like to look for a mentor that is balanced, has a good family life. One of the problems with Western society is people tend to worship these billionaires that have, 5 wives and lots of different kids, and I think you know who I'm talking about. I don't respect that. I respect people that are balanced. And so the best mentors are the ones that are balanced. They have a great family life. They're also successful, etc. And you can always go to LinkedIn and do an advanced search on people that have something in common with you and find mentors that way. And so, and I teach that in my MBA program, actually, at the very, very beginning. But you want to find people that have something in common with you. Okay, so for example, I'm Lebanese, or I'm 25% Lebanese, and I networked, and I met with a guy named John Mack, who's the CEO of Morgan Stanley, and I met with him because I'm part Lebanese. And after I met with him, a couple days later, I met with him in New York. He FedExed this book to me with this nice little note from him. Pretty cool. But I leveraged my roots. And you have to leverage your roots as well and meet with people that have something in common with you. It doesn't have to be like Lebanese or whatever. It can be something along the lines of they went to the same school as you, or maybe they're in the same organization as you, or charitable organization. And my success rate on getting meetings with people I've never met before using LinkedIn is and always has been 95%. I don't say that to impress you, rather, I say it to impress upon you the fact that you can get any meeting you want if you do it the right way. And I teach that at the very beginning of my MBA degree program. Your network is your net worth. Relationships are always more important than product knowledge. Okay, next, Caroline. How are you? Caroline's from France. She lives now in Canada. She got married recently in Nova Scotia. She lives in Ontario. Good to see you. Caroline wrote, and she's in my Silver MBA program. Hey, Chris, thanks for the big dream email. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. And then you wrote, happy 2023 to you and your family. Talking about a big goal. How is Project Magu going? It's awesome. The building is done. And I'm actually flying there this June for about a month. And I'm going to be teaching from the school. And if I can get broadband, I'll do my weekly calls there as well. Okay. And for more details on Project Magu, go to projectmagu.org. Thank you. Okay. Next up, I have got Alex P. Hey, Alex P. How are you? Alex P. is from Utah. Okay. And the question is, give me 1 second. It jumped on me here. So I'm going to do a search for Alex. Here we go. So Alex wrote, Happy New Year, Chris. Same to you. You wrote, I noticed that Wells Fargo came out with a BILT MasterCard credit card product, which allows people to get membership points while making rent payments. I think the concept of the BILT credit card is cool. I don't feel like the product has been tried and tested in the past long enough. Given Wells Fargo's history in the past, I'm skeptical. What are your thoughts? Yeah. So I know what you're talking about. With respect to 2008, Wells Fargo almost went bankrupt. It was for many years the largest market cap financial services company on the planet, ticker WFG. I think it's a solid company. I wouldn't worry too much about it. But when it comes to using a credit card or any kind of special new financing product, you always want to find out what the hidden fees are. And I promise you there's tons and tons of hidden fees. So what you have to do is call support, okay? Same thing with insurance products, and ask them to explain the hidden fees. And after they explain it to you, I want you to explain it back to them, because all these calls are recorded for quality service purposes. And then after you explain it back to them, say, is that correct? If they say no, rinse, lather, repeat, do it over and over and over again until you discover what the hidden fees are. Okay. All right. Next up, Ya, who's in my MBA program. Good to see you. Wrote, hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Same to you, and I hope you're doing well. Okay. Next up, we have Obina. How are you? Obina wrote, hello, everyone. Happy New Year, and may 2023 be tremendously awesome. Excellent. Excellent. And I hope you and your family are doing well. I saw you sent me an email. I will get back to you. And I'm so sorry. I have 1.5 million students all over the world. I can't respond to all emails. But Obina, I'm going to give you my MBA program for free, as we talked about before. I'm here to help you forever. Okay. And I'll respond to your email. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to Nintendo, who subscribed to my channel, joined my channel. Thanks for the support. I appreciate that. You wrote, Happy New Year, everybody. What is your opinion about Andrew Tate being arrested? I don't know who Andrew Tate is. Let me do a search here. Give me 1 second. Andrew Tate. My middle name is Andrew. Oh, yes. I heard about this. Yeah, I think he was Romania for sex trafficking or something. It's just disgusting. Disgusting. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know much about that, but yeah. Okay. Next up, Rose, I hope you had a great vacation. I'm excited for the programming course. So am I. And I used a 3D printer to create objects like this for it. It's an object-oriented part of the MBA program. You're going to thoroughly enjoy it or your money back. I have a 30-day money-back guarantee on all my MBA programs. This will not be an individual course. It'll be exclusive to my MBA students, as with all the programming content that I'm adding very soon. Okay, this month. Okay, next up, Manas from India wrote, "Good morning, my dear mentor. Hope all is well. Happy New Year. What a wonderful start to the year. A lot to ask, and let's begin. Now push the goalpost. Oot. I love it. And big shout out to one of my students. And I know that Manas, you wrote a lot of books using my book template, and anybody can write a book, but a big shout out to, see, this was sent to me by Edward Almonte. It's called The Pillars on Your Way. He published this book. It's really nice, hardcover, on Amazon using my book template. And he wrote a nice foreword as well to me. So God bless you. I appreciate that. Now, anybody can write a book, and I recommend that everybody do it. It's easy. All you have to do is this, okay? And I'm going to show you how I've done it in the past. And I promise you this will help your career. So all you have to do is on LinkedIn, you publish one article every week for 2 years on whatever you're passionate about. And then you copy and paste all the articles and you put the best ones, the ones that got the most likes and comments, first in your book. You put it all into your book. And then when you go to informational meetings or job interviews, you can give the person the book. And if you think that's too much work, you got to ask yourself, how badly do you want this job? Now, it's free to do this, and I have a book template I'm going to show you how to access quickly. And I don't need your email address or anything. But you just go to my website, harounmba.com/ all lowercase, write book, and you can download the book template right here. There's one page of instructions, so you can publish it for free on Amazon Print, Amazon Kindle, as well as ACX, which is Audible. Okay. All right. Next up, Anthony Corey. Anthony, how are you? Good to see you, bud. Good to see you. Next up, we got Mutaz wrote, "Hey everyone, Happy New Year." Same to you. Great to see you. The Berlin, who's in my MBA program, wrote, "At Chris, good morning. Hope all is well." Likewise. Good to see you. Moving on to Oriolowo, wrote, "Happy New Year. I just got your public speaking course on Udemy. Thank you. I plan to start YouTube channel teaching the little I know in the stock market to my Nigerian people. I've been learning a lot. Awesome. And please ask me as many questions as you want to every single week forever. This is week 213, and I'll answer all questions about the stock market, etc., based on my experience working at Goldman Sachs, Citadel, big hedge fund, and venture capital and stuff. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, looks like somebody with an Arabic name wrote, and my dad is Egyptian, wrote, "Thank you so much for your efforts, knowledge, and overall very positive energy, especially the humor." Thank you. Thank you. P.S. You have a very beautiful name. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So my first name, Christopher, it's in ancient times, what happened was if you want to cross the River Jordan, they didn't have bridges. And so a topher carried people across, a topher. And then one day, 2023 years ago, I think you know where I'm going with this, a topher carried this 5-year-old kid across the water. And the topher wanted to give up because the kid kept getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And he was praying to God, please help me not give up. I want to carry this kid to the other side. I know I can do it. I'm not going to give up. And he put the kid on the other side of the river. And somebody said, congratulations, you just carried the Christ child. And so a topher's job was renamed a Christ topher, which is pretty cool. In terms of my last name, I think it's Hebrew actually for Aaron, who's Moses' brother. Yeah. Spelled differently though, Aaron. Okay, moving on to Luis, who wrote, "Hey Chris, can anyone do it the MBA? I live in Portugal. Does it apply to me?" Absolutely. Absolutely. You don't need to have an undergraduate degree or even a high school degree. The system is rigged when it comes to traditional MBA programs. Traditional MBA programs don't teach you how to sell, how to network, how to present, how to manage your own money. They teach you how to manage other people's money. They don't prepare you for the real world. They also don't help you start a company, which is why I wrote this book right here, which Forbes humbly wrote about. So you can always go to harounmba.com and sign up today. Now the Silver MBA, you can sign up and start today. It's like Netflix. Or the Gold and Platinum program I teach live. And to learn more about that, Just go to harounmba.com. Thank you. 30-day money-back guarantee. All right, moving on to Dan, who wrote, hi, Chris. Love your classes on Udemy. Thank you. My question is, how would I know if a service is simple as window cleaning can be scaled on a nationwide level? Yeah. So in the MBA program, I have what's called a venture capital bootcamp. Okay. And in the venture capital bootcamp, I help you start a business by writing a business plan. And failing to plan is planning to fail. And I ask you about 800 questions in the MBA program, in the venture capital bootcamp, about your startup. And the end result is a business plan report, which will help you decide go or no go. We size the market from a total addressable market perspective. We talk about your go-to-market strategy. We look at the data as well. And you always have to forecast the financials, which I teach you in my MBA program. For those of you already in my MBA program, go to the third of 4 semesters and go to the entrepreneurship classes. So that's E3-1 through E3-5. That's 13 hours of classes on the Venture Capital Bootcamp, Entrepreneurship Semester 3, Class 1 through Class 5. Okay. I have to slow down my talking. I'm just so excited about this programming stuff, man. Okay. Okay, and the Berlin wrote, Chris, when does your MBA class start? I'll show you here quickly. So if you go to, just go to my website, actually, to find out more details on it, just harounmba.com. It starts on the 30th, okay, January 30th. Okay, I've got a gold and platinum program, and you can read more about this if you want to. And I've got limited seats available. This is going to be a smaller class, and there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. But you're already grandfathered in, so you can take it for free because you signed up for my gold program before. Yeah. All right. Next up, Anthony wrote, I was hoping to ask for advice on DKNG. I don't know what that is. Donkey Kong? I'm just kidding. No, that's Nintendo. 947-7783, I think, is the ticker. I have $10,000 and I'm down 50%. I'm sorry to hear that. I don't have a stop loss yet. Okay, meaning a level to sell the stock below. Be careful about that. You know, Warren Buffett said the New York Stock Exchange is the only store in the world where consumers sell stuff when it goes on sale. Careful. Yeah. You wrote, I'm seeing news articles about investigations and lawsuits against them. So what I would do with that stock and any stock is I would go to sec.gov and I pull up the 8K. And 8K is a press release by the company explaining what's happening. And by law, they have to disclose all material issues. Okay. I would also listen to the most recent earnings call, and especially the Q&A section at the end of the earnings call when analysts ask about risks. Okay. And in my MBA program, I provide you with a lot of tools that will help you, analyze all this stuff in more detail. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then you wrote, is it worth joining the lawsuits or is it a waste of time? Should I just sell the stock instead? Is it common to have investigations or lawsuits? Yeah. So I never tell my students what to buy. Okay. I just teach them how to fish. And for those of you in my MBA program, there's a great template you can download, harounmba.com. You go to EMS 4-2, that's Economics Management and Strategy. Did I spell that wrong? Haroun, 2 N's. Don't take my MBA program, I can't spell. But if you go to harounmba.com/EMS 4-2, that's Economics Management and Strategy, Semester 4, Class 2 right here. You can download a template. And this template is based on, it's one of many templates in my MBA program. It's based on my experience working on Wall Street and the venture capital sector, et cetera. And what this will do, look at me buying time. What this will do is it'll help you to analyze any stock. Okay. Before I go on, the first person to tell me where this picture is gets my silver MBA for free. Okay. The first person to write it. All right. But let me show you what's in this spreadsheet here. And again, it's one of many tools that are available for my MBA students, silver, gold, and platinum. So this is a 100-step investment research process that'll help you analyze any company from a fundamental, valuation, and technical-based perspective. Here we go. It's opening. Okay, I had to download it. There's no macros in this. Okay. Basically, in this template, I teach you how to analyze any stock from a qualitative, quantitative, and financial perspective. Okay. There's tons of different steps, and on each step, I've got a video that explains that step in a lot more detail. Okay. Over 100 videos. And after you answer all the questions in this 100-step framework, which I teach in the 4th semester in my MBA program, Then what comes out of it is a dashboard, which has tons of charts, like these ones here, that slices and dices and analyzes the company, okay? And also what comes out of this is a one-page report, okay? Fundamentals, valuation, technicals. And then a detailed 150-page report, okay? So I pride myself in teaching my students how to fish instead of providing you with a fish. Yeah, and I say it with love in my heart, as always. Okay. Next up, Manas wrote, my mentor, Chris, please. What's the difference between futures and options? And how do they work in stocks and cryptos? And what is a ROA like in options? Yeah, okay. I think you're talking about one of the Greek variables, RHO, without the A at the end. Yeah. Okay, so, and I teach this in my MBA program as well. So the global derivatives market, okay, derivatives means rate of change. The global derivatives market is 6 times bigger than the global stock market. It's massive, okay? And derivatives, like in calculus, is all about the rate of change. And so you can invest in derivative instruments and make money based on how fast a stock goes up or down. Now, within derivatives, there are different types of derivatives, okay, under that umbrella. You've got options, futures, swaps, and more. Options are basically when you buy puts or calls, and I explain this in my MBA program in a lot of detail. So if I own a stock, Coca-Cola, ticker KO, and I want to buy protection on it, I can buy an insurance product called a put. It's like a coat, it protects it. And what this does is if Coke goes down, I don't lose money because of this option instrument. Okay, and there's 35 different option instruments I explain in my MBA program in FA44, that's Finance and Accounting Semester 4, class number 4, in a 30-hour elective on options. Now, futures, it's used mainly with commodities as well as with currencies, right? Where you're trying to lock in the future price of something. I'll give you an example. Southwest Airlines, ticker LUV, Southwest Airlines in 2003, they realized, hey, if the price of oil goes up a lot, then what's going to happen is we're going to go bankrupt. So what they did was they used futures to hedge the future price of oil so that for the next decade, it would only cost them $30 a barrel. Then by the summer of 2008, when you had the oil super cycle, the summer of 2008, oil was $150 per barrel. And they had locked in that future price. And so what Southwest did was predatory. They started cutting their prices, their tickets. And they forced all the other American airlines into bankruptcy using futures. I hope that answers your question. Lastly, in terms of ROE. So there's different Greek variables that you can analyze for options. And I explain this in FA44 in a lot of detail. There's 5 Greek variables. Okay, there's delta, gamma, rho, vega, and I can't remember the other one right now. But they basically analyze from a statistics perspective what happens if something changes, one of the inputs for options. Rho refers to the interest rate. If interest rates change, how does that affect the price of the option? And I explain this in a lot more detail with tons of props, as usual, etc., in my MBA program. Thank you. All right, next up, the Berlin wrote, Chris, 300 million e-bikes will be sold in 2023. So 1 out of 26 people will have an e-bike. Is that right? Alexa, what is 8 billion divided by 300 million?
8 billion divided by 300 million is approximately 26.6667.
Okay, I don't know if the math adds up. I am incredible. Yeah, I don't know if that's right. Let me do that again. 300 million e-bikes will be sold in 2023. Alexa, what is 300 million divided by 8 billion?
300 million divided by 8 billion is 0.0375.
0.0375. 0.0375. Alexa, what is 1 divided by 26?
1 divided by 26 is approximately 0.0385.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's legit, but I would always go to the source of the data as well. That seems like a very, very high number. I love my e-bike. I own 2 of them. I swear by it. I have what's called a Suron, S-U-R-R-O-N. I love it. It's amazing. I'm bullish on that market. Okay, next up we got Pulasti, who wrote, hey, Chris, how are you? I'm always great, thanks. I hope you're doing well. Happy New Year. You wrote, how do you calculate? Do you have any tips to deal with toxic employees and friends? Yeah, I'm sorry if you're going through this. The vlog I'm most proud of is the one I did on corporate bullies. You can do a search on my YouTube channel on that. There's a couple ways. Number one, you be careful how you answer questions from them. So we all have friends, and they're probably lawyers, that no matter how you answer a question, they're going to use it against you. So if somebody says something to you and you don't know how to answer it, you just say 2 words. You say, I understand. You're not saying you agree or disagree. You're just saying you understand. And I learned that from Charlie Sheen winning in 2.5 Men. But you have to say, I understand. Just kidding. No, but it does work. And just don't say anything to them at all that is opinionated that they can use against you. It's hard. But what I recommend doing, and a lot of people don't like when I say this, but I'm going there anyway, is cutting them off, right? You don't have time in your life for toxic people. If they're bringing you down, cut them off. You don't have to hang out with them. Just avoid them. Fire your friends that bring you down. Are they really friends? And just avoid them if you can. Now, if you're working in a company and you're being bullied, you can always go to human resources and file a complaint, right? If you think it's legitimate. Or you can get another job, and I can help you do that in my MBA program. Okay, let that frustration motivate you. Or what you can do is you can start your own company. Okay, and I help you with that as well in my MBA degree program. Yeah, so do a search on my YouTube channel on corporate bullies, and please watch that video. And I'm sorry you're going through this. Yeah, okay. Okay. Next up, the Berlin wrote, Chris, why is Salesforce price rising when they're announcing layoffs? Yeah, probably because people are thinking that this is going to help their bottom line, right? So there's been a lot of issues with Slack, the acquisition they made, and you've had a lot of management turnover as well. With I think it was Parker Harris, one of the co-founders, is no longer as involved as he used to be, and so people already know they're having problems. And if you announce a layoff, the stock can go up because it means that earnings will go up as well. And the way to look at that is in the financial statements. You look at G&A, R&D, and S&M, okay? And you just read about those 3 line items in the annual report and find out where they're letting people go. If they're letting people go mainly in R&D, that's not a good thing because Salesforce is still a growth stock. Yeah. All right. And then wrote, can you review our resumes? Yeah, if you're in the platinum portion of my MBA degree program, I can do that. And I write your LinkedIn profile myself. That's right. Not my staff, me, in the platinum program. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Manas wrote, Binance is holding 80% of BNB coins, according to people familiar with the matter. Is this okay or it's unfair and a signal for another storm? Yeah. That's always dangerous when one investor owns too much of a company or any asset class. I get nervous when an investor owns more than 20% of any company, because if they start selling, the supply increases materially, which obviously drives the price down. Yeah, that's a big risk. I would be worried about that. Okay. All right. All right. And Fred, how are you? Fred lives in Maryland. He works in the healthcare sector. Great to see you. He graduated from my Platinum MBA program last year, actually 2 years ago. Great to see you, buddy. And thank you for all your support and help with the options addition to my MBA program as well. Great to see you. Miss you. Okay. Manas wrote, Coinbase has a lower market cap than Dogecoin now. It's crazy. Yeah. Everybody is selling cryptos now, which means now is the opportunity to roll up your sleeves and start buying. And in my MBA program, I provide you with a 49-step template that's updated to help you analyze any cryptocurrency company so that you can create something like this, an S1 prospectus for a crypto. Yeah. And regulation is coming for cryptos, and that's a good thing. A little side note, for those of you that follow my Instagram account, I've had problems with people impersonating me and trying to get cryptos from my students. I'll never ask my students for cryptocurrencies or money and all that stuff. So please just ignore that. Yeah. And I'm working closely with Instagram to stop this from happening. But their customer support is not that good, to be honest. Okay. All right. Next up, how does leverage work in options and futures? Can you please give an example for both why people use leverage? Yeah, be careful with leverage. Warren Buffett in the fall of 2008 said that derivative and leveraged instruments are financial weapons of mass destruction. Be really careful, okay? If you're going to invest in options, buy options, don't underwrite them or sell them, okay? Because your losses can be infinite. So if you're going to invest in options, I want you to only buy puts and calls to start with, and practice a lot, which I teach in FA44, Finance and Accounting Semester 4, class number 4, my MBA program. But I'll give you an example. Let's say you own Coca-Cola stock, ticker KO, okay? And you bought it in, let's say, January of 2022, and now it's December of 2022, and you made a lot of money on it. You don't want to sell the stock, though, because if you sell a stock in less than a year, you're going to pay higher capital gains taxes. So what can you do to protect yourself if you think Coke might go down in December of 2022? Well, what you can do is you can buy an insurance product called a put, okay? And this put option protects your investment in Coke. So if Coke goes down, this goes up. And the most money you can lose is what you paid for the put. Okay, and a call is the opposite of that. And you can make 10, 20 times your money with calls as well. So let me show you here. So if we go to finance.yahoo.com, I love using it because it's accessible and free for everybody. And we type in ticker KO. I like it a little bit less now because that pop up. But if we type in ticker KO or any ticker, okay, this is Coca-Cola, you go here to options, okay? And what you can do is you can buy puts or calls. And these are options. They usually expire on Thursdays or Fridays. But let's say I wanted to buy the December 15, 2023 puts. Okay, there's calls and then there's puts down here. What I could do is I could protect myself by buying any of these puts here. And so these are in the money. These are out of the money. So if I, is that right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So if I wanted to, what I can do is I can buy the 55, this is out of the money, put, which means if Coke goes below $55, I will make money between now and December 23rd. Okay. So right now Coke is at $62. Okay. So if it goes below 55, then I'll make money. Now it's not in the money because these ones here are not in the money that I just showed you. Sorry. Step away from the blotter, Haroun. Give me a second. These ones down here, these are in the money because a put that you buy, you want it to go down, okay? These ones here are out of the money. They're not worth any money yet, but they can be worth money if Coke goes below this level by the time that this option expires. And if you have additional questions, please let me know, and sorry for butchering that answer. Okay. Next up, Ya wrote, how long does a company's S1 come out before its IPO? Yeah, usually it all depends, usually about 6 months. So what happens is a company will file an S1 and then within 6 months or so, then they'll go public. But it depends because they can have amendments to their S1. So if we go here to sec.gov, where we do research on companies, and you type up the ticker for Facebook, which is now Meta, okay, right here, you'll see that they had a number of S1 amendments. And I'll explain that really quickly. Okay, so if we do a search here on S1, search, go. Why is it not working? S1, all right, hold on a second. All, S1, let's do a search. All right, let me try it again. Oh, there we go, I had it. S1. All right, here we go. Good. Okay, great. So Facebook, what they did was they filed to go public, okay, right here underneath my head, February 1st of 2012, okay, and then and this is the S1 document, and then they have had amended versions where they made little changes over and over and over again until the final prospectus, which is this document, on May 16th of 2012, and then after that they went public. So it's usually within 6 months, usually, yeah. And if you have additional questions about that, please let me know. Okay. Next up, Nintendo wrote, what's a good point for a startup to go public? Yeah. So usually what happens is venture capitalists invest in companies where growth is accelerating. The rate of change is accelerating, like revenue, okay? And the second that revenue growth is positive but starting to decelerate, then the venture capitalists call their investment banker buddies and they say, hey, take this company public. And 99.9% of all publicly traded companies have revenue growth that's decelerating, right? It's the law of large numbers. So that's usually when a company wants to go public, is when revenue growth is decelerating. And there's other factors as well, like, is it a good market environment? Because we're in a bear market right now, not many companies are going public. Yeah. Also, they go public if they need to raise money or if they have insiders that they want to pay out, through secondary shares. Okay, next up, the Berlin wrote, Chris, the IRS, Internal Revenue Service in America, hired their tax bracket so you can contribute more to retirement. And now Robinhood has an IRA retirement program and will match 1%. So how will you take all these new acceptance? Yeah, so what's happening is every single year, you're allowed to save a certain amount of money tax-free. Okay, and every country has different retirement savings account programs. In America, it's called 401k. If you're overseas, do a search on your company name equivalent or your country name equivalent of 401k. And so I think the IRS increased the limit by 10% to $22,500 in 2023. And it's the biggest year-over-year increase ever. And they did that because of inflation. And so what happens if you put in 22 grand a year into your 401k, then and you invest in stocks, you don't pay taxes ever until you take out that money many years from now. And it's a much larger number. An IRA is kind of the opposite of that. What you do, and it's about 6 grand per year maximum, what you do is you pay taxes first, and then you put it into your IRA. And then if the value of whatever you invest in goes up a lot, and you take that money out, you don't pay taxes. And so Peter Thiel did this with Palantir and Facebook shares. He put it in his Roth IRA at pennies, 0.0001 cent per share. And that Roth IRA is now worth between $5 and $10 billion. Yeah. All right. In terms of Robinhood's IRA retirement program, I'd be careful, man. Make sure it's federally insured as well, like FDIC insured. Otherwise, I wouldn't touch it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Mohammed wrote, what do you think of Forex trading? Please don't do it. It's really hard to make money in Forex trading because the reason that currencies go up or down is all based on geopolitical stuff you can't forecast. Like, I don't know if Putin is going to, no longer allow countries to buy oil for $60 a barrel. What if he increases it to 100 tomorrow? All stocks go down. What if there's saber rattling between Beijing and Washington? You just don't know. It's impossible to trade Forex because you get fooled by randomness. Yeah, please don't do it. Yeah, I say it with love in my heart always. Yeah. Okay, next up, as an angel investor, what qualities do you look for in a startup to invest in? Yeah. So I always start with the management team. Ideas are commodities, but execution is not. Okay. So I always start with the management team. Can they sell? Are they passionate? Have they been successful in the past? Have they had exits in the past? If not, if it's, like Mark Zuckerberg, for example, with Facebook, does he or she have good advisors in their board? In this case, it was Peter Thiel, as well as Justin Timberlake. Just kidding. Sean Parker. Yeah. So I look at the management team first, but there's many other things to look at as well, which I explained in my MBA degree program. Always start with the management team. Always. Yeah. Okay. Because what happens is this, like sophisticated angel investors and venture capital investors, they know the company they're investing in, which is early stage, they know that their business model is going to change because they're usually in a sector really early. And what they want, though, is they still want to be excited by the founder who can sell. You look for somebody like a Sir Richard Branson who can sell anything. The guy's amazing. Watch his documentary, please, on HBO. It's great. Or you look at Mark Benioff, who is the best salesperson in history. He makes cloud computing sound exciting. So you want a sales-oriented CEO, and all entrepreneurs are great. Or all great entrepreneurs are great salespeople. You want somebody to get you really excited about the company because you know that their business model is going to change. Okay, give me 1 second here. All right. And I don't know if anybody's answered the question correctly about where is this here. Okay. But whoever answered it correctly is going to get my silver MBA for free. And I'll get your comments soon to see who won that. Yeah. It's my favorite place in the world. Did I show that to you? Sorry. Right here. This. My favorite place in the world right here. Yeah. Okay. Let me go back now. It's fun doing these things live. Where the hell did it go? Oh, here it is here. Okay, good. Got scared there. Okay. Next up, Manas wrote, Elon is digging a grave for Tesla stock getting plummeted. What's the lowest it can go down to? Yeah. So whenever, and I've said this publicly before, whenever a CEO of a company, has a pet project, meaning they buy something like a sports team, for example, then you got to run for the exits. Yeah. And so he certainly got distracted. Some people say he kind of checked out from Tesla 2 years ago. There hasn't been as much innovation in the past 2 years, just a lot of promises. Yeah. In terms of what to do with the stock here, if you put a gun to my head, I'd probably buy. But I'd have to do a lot more research on it. Yeah. But I like the fact that Elon is now kind of stepping away from Twitter being the CEO. Of course, you guys all saw the poll. 58% of people voted for him not to be the CEO anymore. I think that's a good thing. Yeah. Okay. All right. And Alexander wrote, the champ is live. Thank you. Okay. Anurag wrote, hey, Chris, Happy New Year. Same to you. How do you see the future of cryptocurrency with the collapse of FTX? Yeah. So I still think, and I've publicly said this for years on my webcast, that 95% of cryptocurrencies are a scam. But I think there are a handful of great investments longer term, and I've always publicly disclosed what I own and I still own, I haven't sold, which are 4 cryptocurrencies, which are Bitcoin, Ethereum, because Ethereum's a platform, as well as Litecoin and Ripple. Yeah. But you always have to do your own research, and I provide you with all the tools and templates to do so in the MBA degree program as well. Okay. All right. But now's the time to roll up your sleeves and do the work, because you want to be greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy. And there's a hell of a lot of fear out there. I think now is the time to roll up your sleeves and do work on cryptos and be selective and start accumulating. Okay. Next up, Alexander wrote, Mr. Haroun, call me Chris, please. Will your gold course membership teach me how to evaluate a small business and teach me how to operate it remotely, like a liquor store, for example? Absolutely. I teach you management techniques as well, in terms of how to motivate a workforce, how to delegate as well. I also have a venture capital bootcamp, as I mentioned earlier, in the 3rd semester. It'll help you, absolutely. And the MBA program is generic enough to apply to every industry and every type of company in every single country. Yeah. Okay, and CL wrote, thank you. You are my motivator. You're very interesting and informative. No, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, next up we got Loraxak, who wrote, hey, Chris, I started learning business-related stuff with you a few months ago. You're amazing. Thank you. Appreciate it. I have a lot of flaws. And then you wrote, I hope I'll be able to join your MBA course after graduating from my AI degree. Happy New Year, Chris. Thank you. Likewise. And there's a lot of data analysis stuff I'm adding to the MBA program using software at the end of this month. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm going all in on tech now as well. And I love it. It's fun. Okay. Next up, we got Kay, who wrote, what school and what year did you graduate from the MBA program? Yeah, so for me, I did my undergraduate degree in business at McGill University. And I had the dean actually of the business school here a couple weeks ago visiting with me. It was kind of fun. I graduated in 1994. Then I did my MBA in finance in New York City at Columbia University. And that was in 2000. And I found that it didn't teach me some of the most important things in life, which is why I wrote this book and why I have my MBA program. It didn't teach me, how to sell. It didn't teach me how to network. It didn't teach me how to interview. It didn't teach me how to present. It didn't teach me how to raise money. It didn't teach me how to manage my own money. It teaches you how to manage other people's money. There's a lot of problems with MBA schools. It's not a professional designation. The system is rigged, and I think it's a ripoff, which is why I do what I do. Yeah. Okay. Anthony wrote, Happy New Year, Chris. Thank you. Thank you. Likewise. Okay, Eric, who's based in Florida, has a really cool startup. He's going to get financing from the United States government from DARPA, I think. Eric wrote, crypto dashboard is too big to load on Google Sheets or Microsoft Online. Yeah, no. So that please use that document. Just use it in Microsoft Excel. Yeah, not on an iPad or online. Open Excel and use that instead of doing it online. Yeah. And it's not made for Google Sheets. Yeah. Okay, moving on to Anurag wrote, hey, Chris, is there a method to create long-term wealth through options, or is it more speculation? Yeah. So I want you to practice a lot first for at least 6 months. And I provide you with all the tools and know-how and templates, 35 different templates for investing in options. I provide that to you in my MBA program in FA44, Finance Accounting Semester 4, class number 4. Please practice a lot, okay, first, because you can lose your shirt. If you want to buy options, just buy puts and calls and a small amount of money, because that's the most you can lose. Don't underwrite them, because you can have, meaning sell them, because your losses can be infinite. Now, if you're going to invest in options, I think the smartest way to do it is to, first of all, do a lot of research on a company that you love from a fundamental valuation perspective. And then you can buy what are called leaps, which are like options that are 1, 2, or 3 years. Yeah. Okay. Can you sign up, Eric wrote, as a certified school with Microsoft so we can download the student version of Excel? I'm not going to do that, sorry. Yeah. But if you want, like I go in the Apple store and I say I'm a teacher and they go to my website. You can do that as well if you're a student in my MBA program, and they'll honor that. Yeah, but I'm not gonna call companies and ask them to honor that sort of thing. You can always ask. As one of my MBA students, he told me he grew up in the projects. He said that he said closed mouths don't get fed. Yeah, so always ask. Next up, Kex. Kex, thank you for joining my YouTube channel. I see the trophy icon there as well. Thank you. You wrote, hey, Chris, you just mentioned that we should not read articles about what to buy in terms of stocks. Yep. But rather read about how markets work. I realize shortcuts are not advisable, but working full time, I don't have the time available to do my own research on the companies in my portfolio or those that I want to add. I try to do as much as I can, but it's not enough. Question. Are there any sources of investment advice, stock picks, that you can recommend, at least as a means for selecting stocks to research? Yeah, no. Always do your own research. I provide you with all the templates and tools or arrows in your quiver, tools in your toolbox in my MBA program to help you choose which stocks to invest in. If you don't have time, then I would invest in ETFs. And my go-to ETF, and this is what I do when I'm not sure where to put my money, is I buy what's called the VU, okay? So the VU represents the S&P 500, okay? And it's made by Vanguard, which is the absolute best, best ETF company on the planet. And the fees are low at 0.01. Okay, so what this means is this. For every $100 you invest in the S&P 500 through ticker VU, for every $100 you invest, you're only paying a penny every year in fees, right? So this is my go-to ETF. I own a lot of it. When I don't have time to roll up my sleeves, I always buy this. Now, the S&P 500, it's up an average of 10.5% every year. So if all you did was you took your $22,000 roughly in retirement savings, 401k, and you put it into the VU every year, then after 20 years, you'd have over $1 million. Yeah. Okay. But always ask, never invest in companies that you don't understand. I love investing in companies where I try the product, right? So always try the product and always do your own research. If you rely on somebody else for a stock tip, then when the stock goes down, you might sell it, which is the worst time to sell. Yeah. Okay, next up, we've got Austin wrote, Happy New Year, likewise. I just began a career in investor relations, awesome, and I feel a bit undereducated for the position and would love your recommendations on more materials to improve my financial literacy. Yeah. So I think if you sign up for my MBA program, that's all you need. I teach you a hell of a lot about finance. I've worked on a lot of IPOs. I invested in companies that are private. When I worked in venture capital, I invested in a lot of publicly traded companies when I started my hedge fund. And when I worked at Citadel, just take my MBA program. I promise you it's a great resource and it'll help or your money back. Yeah, you can go to harounmba.com to learn more. Yeah. I would also network to try to meet with people that work in investor relations. And in the first semester of the MBA program, I teach you how to network to get any meeting you want, leveraging LinkedIn. And what I recommend you do is reach out to a company called the Blue Shirt Group. The Blue Shirt Group is an investor relations company based here in the Bay Area, and I've worked with them a lot. And what they do is it's for outsourced IR, meaning companies that are mid-cap or small cap that don't have enough money to have in-house IR. They hire the blue shirt group. Try to meet with somebody from the blue shirt group. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Pulasli wrote, hey, Chris, wish you, may the new year bless you. Thank you. With health, wealth, and happiness. Thank you. And thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to Brooks, who wrote, I love disrupting education. Awesome. Me too. How do you balance pricing on platforms that you don't control, like Udemy, versus selling on your own platform? How do you balance the pricing so there's the same for customers? Yeah. So my MBA program is only available on my website. Udemy is a great partner for me. Okay, I've been working with them since 2015. They've been selling my courses, and it's great for indirect distribution. Now, every company has got to have direct sales and indirect sales. If it's direct sales, your profit margins are higher. If it's indirect, like through Udemy, the profit margins are lower, but it's a great deal to teach on Udemy because Udemy in EdTech is Google and everybody else is Bing. And they'll sell my courses overseas to customers I can never really access to begin with. Yeah. So I think it's always smart to have an indirect distribution channel as well as a direct distribution channel. Yeah. Okay. Next up, we got Pearl. Hey, Pearl, who wrote, hey, Chris, Happy New Year to you and the family. Thank you. I appreciate it. My boys are getting big now, man. This guy here, he's 18, 17, and 13. 13 going on 30. Yeah. Because he's the youngest. They grow fast, man. Okay. Kami-sama wrote, hello, Happy New Year to you. Likewise. Thank you. Okay. Austin wrote Guam. No, Guam is not correct. And again, whoever answers this question correctly will get my MBA degree program, the Silver MBA, for free. This is not Guam, but keep guessing. Okay. Okay, next up, Charm wrote, good morning, Sir Chris. Chris, please. I'm currently taking your Silver MBA program. I'm really enjoying it so far. Thank you. Sometime I get teary-eyed when I finish those courses where you share inspiring words. Oh, thank you. Thank you. You melt my heart. Thank you. Okay. Austin wrote Hawaii. No, this is not Hawaii here. Okay. Let's see. William wrote Malaysia. Nope, it's not Malaysia. Okay. Okay. It's a lake. Some people call it a sea, but it's actually a lake. Okay. Loraxak wrote, no idea, Mexico. It looks like Mexico, but it's not. Mexico's beautiful. I was there last week. Okay. So nobody has guessed it yet. Okay. But if you know who I am and what I stand for and my core beliefs deep down, you might guess it. And every day before I get out of bed, I always thank God for 10 things in this order. Okay. I practice gratitude. Andrew, Matthew, Dylan, my wife, Christine, my mom, my dad, my brother, Jamie, my sisters, Katie and Elizabeth, and you, my students. I practice gratitude. I thank God. That's a hint. Okay. The Berlin wrote, Chris, I'm in one of your classes. I believe was the Mario Maker one in my MBA program. Yeah. And that's where I created an entire couple levels in Mario, and I taught while I was playing it. It was fun. Yeah. I try to teach differently. And then you wrote here, you said you calculated your hourly rate was $5 to answer the question, and you brought it down to cents. What formula do you use to come up with? Yeah, I don't remember saying that. If you provide me a little bit more context, I can happily answer that question for you. Yeah. Okay, Trip T wrote, hey, Chris, first time I've seen you, Trip T, on the call. I hope you join us again, and thank you. Wrote, hello, Chris. I've just started your financial analyst course on Udemy, and I'm loving it so far. Happy New Year. Thank you, and Happy New Year to you as well. I recorded the trailer for that and many of my courses in Prague, in the Czech Republic. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, Shachar wrote, is it Lake Wanaka in New Zealand? A lot of new people today. I love it. Thank you. No, it's not. It's not. I'm sure somebody's going to get it. Somebody's going to get it. Okay. All right. Muhammad wrote Greece. No, it's not Greece. Beautiful, though. My wife is half Greek. But my wife's family, okay. So my wife's mom's maiden name is Triandafilides, and that means 30 flowers in Greek. And that is also used to be the password for my Amex account. So when Amex wouldn't work, I'd call Amex, and they're like, "What's your password?" Special word, and I said Triandafilides, and then they say, "Can you spell that?" I'm like, "Hell no, it's too hard, man." So my wife's family, they grew up in Santorini, and there was a massive volcano eruption, and it was sad. A lot of people passed away in my wife's family, but a lot of them went on a boat, and they took that boat and they ended up in a certain country where this is here. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Pulaski got it. Yes. The Sea of Galilee. You're right. Yes. Kinneret Lake from the Mount of Beatitudes in Israel. You are correct. You are correct. This is the Sea of Galilee in Israel. Okay. It's actually a lake, but they called it in biblical times the Sea of Galilee. Congratulations, Pulaski. You win my silver MBA program. Please email support@harounventures.com. Again, that's support@harounventures.com. And somebody on my team will send you the silver MBA program. Nicely done. That was fun, huh? Okay. Yeah. And I took my kids there, my wife, my kids. We went there in 2017. Everybody has to visit Israel. It's unbelievable. It's a birthplace of so many great religions. We did everything in Israel in the summer 2017 except for two things. I didn't take my kids to Masada because they were too young for that. And also, and it kills me, we went to the Golden Heights. You got the best cherries in the world there. And I didn't want to take my kids there because if you go up in the Golden Heights up top, which used to be part of Syria, if you go up in the Golden Heights, in the distance, you can see flashes of light in Damascus, which was ISIS shooting each other. Yeah. Okay, Michael wrote, "Hi, Chris. Happy New Year. Same to you. How does your course on Udemy compare to the MBA course?" Yeah, so my Udemy MBA course is called an entire MBA in one course. I recorded that in January of 2016, and it's 7.5 hours long. The MBA program on my website, harounmba.com, is 300 to 400 hours, maybe longer now with all this additional stuff I'm adding. Yeah. Okay. But both programs have 30-day money-back guarantees. Okay. And Udemy is a great partner of mine. Okay. Again, Udemy is Google and everyone else is Bing and EdTech. Okay. And JM wrote, "I just watched the new Bernard Madoff series on Netflix." I didn't know there's a series. I know that Robert De Niro played Madoff in an HBO special. And then you wrote here, "Sad to see how the SEC dropped the ball year after year and allowed him to continue the Ponzi scheme." Yeah. I knew all along it was a Ponzi scheme because his name is Madoff, because he made off. But it was such a scam. And I've got a document here, and I teach about this in my MBA program. This here is an actual document from Madoff, and it was a Madoff investor. And I bought on eBay as a prop. Okay, and this is a statement, and you can see all the stocks that this person supposedly owned, right? And so it's crazy what he did, and FTX is a lot like that as well. And what usually happens with Ponzi schemes is when a financial crisis occurs, then the Ponzi scheme is discovered. And so what happened in the fall of 2008 was we were within 24 hours of bank machines not working. And so a lot of people that invested in Madoff's mutual fund, they wanted to redeem their money, get it back. And he didn't have enough money to redeem. The same thing with FTX. As cryptos fell, and they fell hard this year, we found out that FTX was kind of a Ponzi scheme. Yeah, history always repeats itself. Yeah. I'll check out that series, though, on Netflix. I didn't know about that. Thanks. I'm watching Yellowstone, which is amazing. It's really good. I'm sure a lot of you are watching it as well. I'm such a loser, though, man. I told my mom and dad up in Canada, they said, "Do you have any good shows to watch?" And I wanted to tell them to watch Yellowstone, but I made a mistake. I sent them a text and I wrote, "You got to watch this show called Yellow Jackets." And my mom started watching. She's like, "It's kind of dark, Christopher." And I said, "No, it gets better. Trust me. Just watch the first 5 episodes. You'll love it." And that was a show about cannibalism. Yeah. Don't watch that one. Watch Yellowstone. It's good. I'm watching 1923 right now, which is a prequel with Harrison Ford, and it's fantastic. Yeah. All right. All right. And give me 1 second here. Okay. Hold on a second, guys. Okay. Next up, Nintendo wrote, how will, in your opinion, ChatGPT affect a business of all sizes? Yeah. I think it's the biggest threat that Google has ever seen. Okay. And ChatGPT is unbelievable. Do a search on it. I can show you a demo right now if you want me to. Say yes if you want me to. I'll do it. I showed you on a previous webcast last year. But I think it's going to really hurt Google longer term. And I think a lot of professional investors in Google are starting to sell Google because this is the biggest threat to Google right now. Okay. And I know that Google owns YouTube, and I don't care. This is my opinion. And yes, I'm publicly saying it. But I think the biggest threat to Google and YouTube's existence longer term is Open ChatGPT. I also think what it's going to do is it's going to help a lot with customer support, right? So instead of talking to a person, you can actually just enter it in OpenGPT. And OpenGPT, which was funded partially by Elon Musk, he put like a ton of money in back in 2019 or so, and Microsoft. But OpenGPT also passed the bar. It's unbelievable. And a lot of students are using it as well. And you can't get caught for plagiarism yet with it. Because if you do an essay in OpenGPT and you search for any sentences in Google in a string with quotes, it won't show up. But I think what's going to happen is with a lot of college students, if they all use OpenGPT with the exact same questions, the teachers will catch on eventually. Yeah. And I think what's going to happen is OpenGPT is really going to impact the copywriting market as well, meaning people that write copy for emails and stuff. Okay. Next up, Michael wrote, I'm investing every month into my children's ISA. Do you think it's a good, safe idea to buy the S&P 500 ETF as opposed to individual stocks? Absolutely. Because if you have time to roll up your sleeves based on the templates I give you in my MBA program to do research on individual stocks, go for it. But if you don't have time, I think that the S&P 500 ETF is the best investment on the planet. Because the very last company, so to speak, that would ever go belly up on this planet is the United States government. It is what it is. And the S&P 500 is very diversified, obviously 500 stocks that represent the U.S. economy. It's up 10.5% per average every year historically. Obviously, it was down last year. But in the long run, you will make money. I own it. I put my reputation on the line. It's a great long-term investment. If you're going to invest in the S&P 500, only buy ticker VOO. Because the fees are 0.01% per year. That's it. Yeah, don't buy mutual funds. They're a ripoff. And for more details on why mutual funds are a scam, just search my YouTube channel. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Michael wrote, what is your preferred cryptos to invest in? I mentioned the 4 that I publicly own already. You wrote, I'm personally invested in Metis and Near, and I don't know anything about those. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. And then Ya wrote, do you have any recommendation on where to set up an IRA? Yeah. So what I recommend doing is, number 1, go to LegalZoom.com. Okay. And you can set up a meeting with a lawyer that can help with personal finances. Okay. And also while you're there, you can set up a will, a trust, estate, etc. LegalZoom.com. I'm not sponsored by anybody, nor will I ever be. My only customer is my student. I say pure and true to you. Okay. I would also ask your accountant for help as well. Okay. They'll help you set up an IRA. And I don't want anybody on this webcast to ever do your own taxes, because filing your own taxes is like doing surgery on yourself. You have to hire an accountant because the tax laws change all the time, and that's their job. Keep up to date on the tax laws so you can get a nice write-off, so to speak, or they keep you out of trouble. So ask your accountant. Yeah. Okay. Or what you can do is call your bank, okay, whatever bank you're dealing with, Citigroup, whatever it is, and get the customer support and ask if they have any financial advisory services as well. But I go to your accountant first. Okay. And then Brooks wrote, Vancouver? No, Vancouver is beautiful though. It looks a little bit like Stanley Park, a little bit. Yeah. But Vancouver's got bigger mountains. Okay, next up, Neno wrote, hi Chris. I'm smiling because I'm thinking of Mork and Mindy. Neno. I'm dating myself there. But Neno wrote, hi Chris, Happy New Year, likewise. Can you please tell me how to form good management team if I do not have experience? Is it possible to present a startup idea to angel investors while being in another country? Couple questions there. Yeah, absolutely. It's in this post-COVID world, Zoom is the norm. So you can absolutely set up any meeting you want to. Now, in my MBA program in the Venture Capital Bootcamp, I also teach you how to make a 10-slide presentation to materially increase your chances of raising capital. Yeah. In terms of the other part of your question, yeah. So when you're looking to partner with people in a startup, you got to look at a gap analysis. What skills are you lacking that somebody else can plug? So for example, Steve Jobs was great at marketing, God bless him, and advertising. Okay. He was a great salesperson, but not a techie. Right. And so he had to get Steve Wozniak, who graduated from Berkeley, where my son is. My son's also an engineer at Berkeley. But he got Steve Wozniak to help him out in the tech side. So you got to find your Woz or your Jobs. So if you're not a techie, find your Wozniak. If you are a techie but not a sales-oriented person, find your job. Yeah. And I can teach you about that more detail in my MBA program, where I teach you how to network on steroids. Yeah, and the stuff I teach works. I have so many success stories, humbly, of students that have done incredibly well. I had one student last year in my MBA program, after finishing just half of it in the Platinum program. He got a full-time job offer from Goldman Sachs in the same start class that Harvard MBA students were in, making a couple $100,000. It works. I had another student, Jim Tusif, who raised $11.5 million a year ago from the same venture capital firm that invested in eBay, as well as Skype, etc. And that was Tim Draper's firm. And I met with Tim before too. Yeah, this stuff works. Just go to LinkedIn, do a search on people that have graduated from my program, and you'll see where they work. It works. Or your money back. Okay, Anusha wrote, Happy New Year, Chris. Thank you. Likewise. Austin wrote, thank you. You're most welcome. Next up, Brooks wrote, do you have more indirect channels that you work with other than Udemy? Side note, my son's name is Dylan as well. Awesome. I love it. I love it. We were actually going to name him Luke. And we didn't want these boys to be jealous. And so we said, we're going to name him Luke. What do you think of that? And this guy threw a fit. He said, I don't want baby brother to be named Luke. I want him to be named Han Solo. It's a true story. And so my wife went with Dylan. Yeah. If it was up to me, my wife said my kids would be called Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Yeah. Okay. All right. In terms of other indirect channels, I work with Stack Commerce. So it's a company that sells my products through newspapers like CNN and different media sources, Financial Times in Canada, Globe and Mail, etc. They're all over the world. I've been working with them since 2016 or 17. Yeah. Also, CyberU, which is Cornerstone On Demand. I signed a contract with them back in 2016. They sell my stuff, and a lot of other companies as well that I signed contracts with back in 16 and 17. Yeah. Okay, but Udemy is by far the best. Like in ed tech, Udemy is Google. Everyone else is Bing. Yeah. And I'm not saying that to get brownie points, because it's an algorithm. If my courses suck, and many of them do, then it just won't sell. Okay. All right. Next up, Al wrote Lake Helena. No. Nintendo wrote Israel. You're right. Loraxac wrote the Death Sea. No. I went to the Dead Sea when I was in Israel. It's so cool. You float. It hurts though if you have like cuts and stuff, but it was fun. Yeah. Mutaz wrote Iceland. Nope. Nintendo, you're correct. It's Israel. And Austin wrote the Red Sea. Yeah, it's not the Red Sea, but I'd love to go there. Apparently, the best scuba diving is there in the Sinai Peninsula. Okay, Lake Huron. Nope. Brooks, you're correct. It is Galilee, but I think Pulastia answered it first. Yeah. Okay. All right, let me fast forward here. Okay. Alexander wrote, what is your mom's maiden name? I think you're asking because I mentioned Lebanese. So my mom's father, God bless him, Grandpa and Grandma, I love you. I miss you. I hope you're proud of me. I love you. But my mom's father was Lebanese. And his last name was originally Haddad, which is like Smith in English, very common name, or Jones. But he changed his last name, I think it was in the 1950s or so, to Haddon, Haddon. Because back in those times, it was hard to get a job if you had a different last name. Thank God things have changed now. We got a long way to go, obviously. But he changed it from Haddad to Haddon. Yeah. Okay. My mom was born in Vancouver. My grandpa worked for General Electric then. Yeah. Okay. Shasha wrote, I feel ashamed for not recognizing the Sea of Galilee, which is 45 minutes from my house. How cool is that? Ani chotze Sea of Galilee achshav. I speak a little bit of Hebrew. Yeah. Okay. I don't think that made any sense, what I just said there. Maybe you can tell me if it did. Okay. Okay. And then Shachar wrote, next time you come to Israel, I would love to meet you. Absolutely. I'd love to as well. In fact, if I meet you there and we go out for coffee or lunch, at the end of the meal, I'm going to do this, though. I'm going to do this. I have alligator hands. I can't find my wallet. You know, T-Rex can't do push-ups. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'll buy you coffee, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so my wife's family, they left Greece and they ended up on a boat after Santorini volcanic eruption, and the boat somehow ended up in northern Israel in Haifa, and so that's where my wife's family grew up. And there's a restaurant there you might have heard of. It's the most popular Greek restaurant in all of Israel. It's called Abu Christo, which means son of Christo, who, God bless me, just passed away, Christo. But Abu Christo, that's theirs. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. Okay. Next up, I have got here, Trip T wrote, I hope to join you in these sessions more often. Thank you. It is highly informative as well. I'm currently a finance major, a CPA equivalent in India. Awesome. But learning stocks and portfolio business building and managing is more fun. I hope to enroll in more courses. Excellent. Thank you. You get 30-day money back guarantee. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. You can sign up, take the whole course, and get your money back within 30 days. My marketing team hates it when I say that, but I don't care. Okay. All right. Next up, Manas wrote, makes more videos, please. Suggestion. Can you make some business documentary on Larry Fink from BlackRock? Yeah. And George Soros. Yeah, so I did one on Soros. So if you do a search on my YouTube channel, you'll find a bunch of stuff on George Soros. I explain in one of my videos how he made $1 billion in one day by shorting the British pound and forcing the Thai baht to float. Yeah. Yeah. But what we're doing for our YouTube videos, and we've been short-staffed. I have one of my students, the poor guy, something happened to him, or one of my staff, something happened to him. He'll be okay though. But we're going to do a lot more vlogs using, the template of Wall Street Pro Reacts to, and I've already recorded a couple more for Wall Street Pro Reacts to Billions episodes. Those will come out eventually. Yeah. But I'm more focused now on this programming stuff, which I'm adding to the MBA curriculum soon. Yeah. Object-oriented stuff. Okay. All right. Colin wrote, you mentioned you went to the Stanford Sleep Institute. I did. I just recently got a Fitbit, which tells me how my sleep is going. I get a lot of fair scores because I tend to take a 30-minute nap on most. Did Stanford mention whether naps were good or bad for your health overall? We didn't discuss that because I can't take naps. It doesn't work for me. Like I can't sleep on airplanes and stuff. I can only sleep in my bed. But here's what Stanford taught me. And instead of a Fitbit, I use this device here. Okay, so this is called an Oura ring, O-U-R-A. And what it does is it monitors my deep sleep. Fitbit can do the same thing. I'm sure Apple Watch will do that as well. And deep sleep is important, okay? Because deep sleep, unlike REM sleep, rapid eye movement, deep sleep is where your brain fixes itself and your muscles are repaired, etc. And so I wasn't getting very much deep sleep. And so Stanford helped me with that a lot. And I'll give you a couple of tips. I'm not a doctor, obviously. That's a caveat. Number one, this is the most important one. When you go to bed, you use your bed to sleep. That's it. Don't do anything else in your bed, ever. Okay? Don't use your iPhone, Android handset, Android device. Don't read. Your bed is only for sleeping. Okay? And subconsciously, that will help you a lot. Number two, wear blue blocking glasses. If you're going to use your iPhone or watch television or use a computer within a couple hours of going to bed. And I'll show you where to buy them. They're really cheap. But it blocks a certain type of light. And scientifically, this is proven. But it blocks a certain type of light that comes out of this thing, which keeps you awake. And a lot of people have sleeping problems now because of that. And I'm going to show you where to buy these glasses. So let me go to Amazon, and I will just do a search on blue blocking glasses. Okay, they're usually like, you get a pair of a couple for like $15. Yeah, right here. So I bought this one here. Okay, so you get 2 of them for $15, and they do block out blue light. I highly suggest it. I recommend it. It works, I promise you. Aside from that, no alcohol close to bed. I don't drink anyway. I don't drink anymore, but I don't drink any less. Sorry. Aside from that, no exercise really close to bed. That'll help you. Drink plenty of water, and also exercise vigorously. Okay, talk to your doctor first. But me just walking in the studio 20,000 steps a day, which is how many steps I get here on my treadmill, that's not enough. And so I started going to the gym more and just getting my heart rate up, and that helps a lot. And when I do that, I can see on my iPhone here with my Oura Ring, I can see my deep sleep's a lot better. Yeah. Okay. And I'm going there for cognitive training as well, and that's coming up soon. It's experimental. I'm on the wait list for it. Yeah, but it's free. Okay. All right, next up, the Berlin wrote, Chris, what AI companies are out there besides ChatGPT as a runner-up? And there's plenty of them. Anything that's a data analytical company kind of has AI capabilities. The one notable one I did a lot of research on, a ton of research, and I invested it when I was in venture capital, is Palantir. Yeah, which is kind of AI for governments and big banks. Yeah. Okay. And I don't own the stock anymore. Okay. I actually sold before the IPO. All right. Next up, Manas wrote, let's assume I'm going to short a $10 stock. Total amount is $1,000. How much do I need to pay up front to get the order? Just curious. It all depends. It all depends on the stock. You can tell me a ticker and I'll tell you right now exactly what the price is. So if we go to finance.yahoo.com here, and I teach about this in my MBA program in more detail, if you wanted to short Tesla, for example, or buy puts on Tesla, I can't believe how much the stock is down. Unbelievable. But what you can do is you can buy puts. Okay, so they usually expire on Thursdays or Fridays. So say you think Tesla is going to go down between now and January 19th of 2024. What you can do is you can buy puts. Okay, and so many options on this. Okay, so these here are in the money because Tesla is below this price. These here are out of the money. So and only buy ones that are very liquid, because illiquid stocks own you in a down market. But let's say that between now and January 2024, you were really confident that Tesla was going to go down below $100. Then you would pay this price here. Now these are sold in lots of 100. So this here would mean you pay $2,160. And if Tesla shares are way below $100 by expiration date, January 2024, you'll make money. Okay, if it goes down a lot below $100, you'll make many times your money, multiple times. Yeah, and the most you can lose is $21,600 for this one contract here. Okay, but you said you had $1,000, so something like this would be closer to $1,000 here. But do the research first, please. And never sell or underwrite options until you've done a lot of work on that, because your losses can be infinite. Yeah. Okay. And what I just explained there was a put, which is like protection on a stock. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, Pulasti wrote, I just want to let you know, I did not guess the answer. I just used Google image to search. I feel like cheating. Is that okay? Very happy to take your gift. Thank you for that. God bless you. Thank you I appreciate that. I love your honesty. You're very similar to me. I can't lie. I remember once when I was a teenager. Oh my God, I'm going to open up here. This is nutty. I was a teenager and I went to a party and I did a little bit of that. I don't do that. Okay. But I did a little bit of that. And I went home with my buddies, and my mom and dad were watching the Blue Jays game in the living room. And they said, my dad said, Chris, how was the party? And I said, oh, it was great. I smoked weed and everything. And my parents said, oh, Chris, you're so funny. Go to bed. And my buddies were like, what the hell? I was like, I don't lie. I don't. Yeah. Thank you for that. God bless you. Thank you. Okay. Now I love you even more. Okay. Moving on to Yash. You wrote, hi, Chris. Happy New Year. Same to you. Great to see you. Okay. And then Jamie, who's my brother's name as well. Jamie. I miss you, Jamie. I love you. Wrote, hi, Chris. Would you still recommend buying VU now or wait for a dip? Also, have you had time to create the Excel daily sheet? Thanks. Yeah. So the Excel stuff is coming soon. I have tons of Excel templates that you can use. In terms of me doing comprehensive research reports, I just don't have the time anymore. So I do own a lot of stocks. I did a hell of a lot of research on years ago. They're still in my portfolio. I'm a long-term investor. I'm doing very well in them. And I still buy the VU. I buy it every single week. Okay. So in terms of market timing, it's impossible. Nobody can time peaks or troughs in the market. Just be a long-term investor. And what I want you to do, if you don't have time to do research on individual stocks, is every paycheck, I want a little bit of money to come out and go directly into your retirement savings. And you can buy the VU if you want to. Out of sight is out of mind. Warren Buffett said, you want to spend what is left after saving instead of saving what is left after spending. So if you have direct deposit taken out of your bank every single 2 weeks after your paycheck, whatever, and put directly into your retirement savings, then I promise you'll add up in the long run. And as I mentioned before, if you invest $22,000 every year in the VU, and the VU is up 10.5% on average every year, then in 20 years, you'll have over $1 million. If your spouse does the same thing, you have over $2 million. If you have 529 saving plans for your kids, and you do that for 18 years for each kid, that's 700 grand. So now we're at 700 grand times 3, that's 2.1 million. And then if you and your spouse invest in the VU as well for 20 years, that's another 2 million. So you're at 4.1 million. And that doesn't even include the appreciation on your house, etc. Yeah. And it's never too late to start saving. Yeah. Okay. And then Manas wrote, thank you for everything, my mentor. See you next week and forever and ever and ever. Thank you and God bless you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. You know what I'm going to do, actually? Keep typing your questions here. I see a bunch more. I'm going to open up Zoom right now. And if anybody wants to join Zoom, you're welcome to do so. And we'll do Zoom here as well. So the way to open up Zoom is you go to harounmba.com/Zoom, all lowercase, harounmba.com/Zoom. And you click this link here to join Zoom. So please join Zoom if you want. And what I'll do is while I wait for you guys, I'll open up Zoom on my end here. Okay. So launch meeting, allow. Okay. And I'll keep answering your questions here. But if you want, join Zoom. It'll be fun. Is it opening? Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, it's just taking a second. All right. There we go. Good. All right. And I will hide my face. There's a face off in the corner. Okay. Here we go. And I'll wait to see if anybody wants to join, ask questions this way. Again, go to harounmba.com/Zoom. All right, let me go through the questions here. Manas wrote, thank you for everything, my mentor. See you next week and forever and ever and ever. And thank you for all those wonderful emojis. Namaste. God bless you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, next up, Michael wrote, thanks again for your time, Chris. You're most welcome. It's greatly appreciated getting your response. My pleasure. Yeah. And then Eric wrote, Rust or Python? I would do Python. The total addressable market is much bigger. Okay. And Marin, how are you? Oh my God, Marin, it's so good to see you. Marin, I have the package that you sent me. It's right here. It's from Marin's cosmetic company. Marin graduated from my MBA program, I think it was last year. I've got it right here. Thank you. I haven't opened it yet. I'm only going to open it when I interview you on my YouTube channel to unbox your package here as well. Here it is. Thank you. Yeah. Great to see you. So Manas is from Kenya, but she lives in the United Kingdom right now. Yeah. So Manas wrote, hello, Chris. Happy New Year. Hope you and yours are well. Thank you. Likewise. Cool. All right. And if anybody wants to join Zoom, you can do so. You have the address there. Okay. Good to see you. Okay. Moving on to Jamie. Jamie wrote, also remove, with respect to sleeping better, remove TVs and computers and cell phones from the bedroom due to the energy that is always on. Yeah. And the blue light will kill you, man. Or it'll kill your sleep. Try not to use these things within a couple hours of going to bed. I promise you it'll help your sleep a lot more. Okay. All right. And then Marin wrote, can you please provide some pointers on marketing a product? What are the best ways and how to go about it? Yeah. Okay. I'll talk about how to market a product for free. So generically speaking, you need to be controversial but tasteful, because controversy sells and you get great PR. So think about it from a journalist perspective. You know, what's controversial and what's interesting. I'll give you examples. Sir Richard Branson, what he did was he wanted to take on, and he leverages the media better than anybody for free PR. What he did was he declared war on Coca-Cola, back in the early 80s with Virgin Cola. And the way he did it was he rented a tank with a bunch of Virgin Cola cans on it, and he drove it through Times Square, declaring war on Coca-Cola. It was wonderful free PR for him. He's done a lot of free PR things as well. Controversial. Another example is Mark Benioff. Mark Benioff from Salesforce.com, which is the largest employer here in the Bay Area. What he said for years when he started Salesforce in 1999, after he left Oracle, youngest vice president there in history at 26. But what he said for years was that software is dead. Software is dead. And that was his logo, software with a line through it. And it was interesting. And so what Mark Benioff did was he made friends with 50 of the top tech and finance journalists in the world, like Jim Cramer, for example. And he would go on their talk shows saying software is dead because cloud computing is the future. Right? So he was very controversial, but it worked for him. Elon Musk. Have you ever seen a Tesla commercial? Neither have I. He is controversial and tasteful most of the time with respect to his PR strategy. For me, what I could do to be controversial is I could declare war on Harvard Business School, HBS. I can say 2/3 of HBS is BS. Or maybe that's 2/3 of Haroun Business School. I don't know. But you get what I'm saying. Another way to get free PR is to write a lot of articles on whatever it is your company does or whatever you're passionate about. Write articles every week in LinkedIn. Okay, do it for 2 years, and then you'll have 104 articles to throw into a book. But you got to think of yourself as a thought leader. So your market is skincare. So you have to write articles on skincare and just be the quintessential resource and thought leader, like the Rodin sculpture, I think, therefore I am. Okay, and publish articles in LinkedIn, etc. And eventually the media will pick up on it. I promise you, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Don't give up after a few articles. People will come to you as the resource for that industry. But you got to keep up with it. It's kind of like YouTube. I didn't give up after my 10th weekly webcast. I'm on week 213 now. I'm going to be doing this forever. Most people will give up. It's a marathon, not a sprint. The longer the view, the wiser the intention. And repurpose your content too, Myron. So if you write a LinkedIn article, then make it a YouTube vlog and then repurpose that. Like what I do is this weekly webcast, I have my staff, what they do is they take the 7 best questions asked and they'll repurpose that content. Write once, read many. They'll repurpose that content on different platforms like Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever. TikTok. Now we're on TikTok. Check it out. We just started posting a lot more videos there. But yeah, repurpose. And when it comes to social media, don't take my advice. My dad always taught me, only take advice from successful people. And so I want you to take advice from Gary Vaynerchuk. So whatever social media platforms Gary V uses, I want you to use as well. Yeah. Okay. All right, next up, Jamie wrote here. Give me 1 second. Okay, we got a couple people that want to join here, the Zoom. So let me go over there while I answer your questions. Go over here. Admit. Okay, great. Okay, so next up, I have got. Hold on. Okay, good. All right. So next up, Jamie wrote the daily sheet for planning your day. Yeah. Yeah, and in the MBA program, I have a version of that, which is really, really helpful. I use it as well here. It helps a lot. And I have digital versions of this as well to help you that I can provide you with in the MBA program as well. Okay. Pulaski wrote, thank you very much, Chris. You're most welcome. You're most welcome. Okay. Now, if anybody wants to share their video on Zoom, you can show me and ask your questions here as well. Okay, so we've got Eric. How are you? Eric is based in Florida. He's probably going to get funding from DARPA on this groundbreaking product. He's in my Silver MBA program, and Pulaski is. Oh, pardon me. Two
groundbreaking products.
2 of them. Awesome. I love it. And Pulaski is now in my MBA program as well because he guessed correctly the Sea of Galilee. And Pulaski, I just want to say, I want to compliment you on your honesty as well about searching Google image. Yeah. Excellent.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Why don't you tell me a bit about yourself? Let's go to Pulaski first, and then we'll go to Eric. So where are you based? What do you do, and what are you looking to do business-wise?
Thank you for the MBA program. Sorry about my English. Uh, Sorry about my English. I can't speak very well English,
No,
but I can understand
no,
very well.
your English is perfect. Yeah.
Just say what you say.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. I'm from Sri Lanka.
Oh, cool.
I I am a work as an associate software engineer. I am an undergraduate student in software engineering.
Mhm.
I found your Udemy course uh, I found your Udemy course on cryptocurrency course.
Oh, cool.
Uh,
Thank you.
so I watched your what is called a demo video. I just fell in love with your
Thank you.
video.
Thank you.
I just bought your course and I finished that course and I I after that I find you on online. I search your name and I found your YouTube channel. I likewise. After that I found your live webcast. I asked a few questions the previous times also. You answer very well. So I sorry I can't speak it well.
No, you do great. Listen, thank you. And you're an engineer. My son Andrew is an engineer as well. He's in engineering school. I think he's going to transfer out of that and into business soon. But no, but thank you. And the great thing is that now that you're in my Silver MBA program, every single Thursday from 10 until 11 my time, I do a Zoom just for my Silver MBA students. Eric is in the Silver program as well, and so you're welcome to join every week forever for free. As well, and ask any business questions you have. And thank you so much for signing up for my crypto course. I appreciate it. One thing I'm very proud of is never being too promotional on cryptos over the years. Yeah. And little side note, as I mentioned earlier, if anybody contacts you, pretend to be me asking you for cryptos. It's obviously not me. Like on Instagram, it's so painful, and shame on you, Facebook, on not catching that and not having better customer service. Facebook is the worst. Company is only as good as its customer service. Yeah, I tell it like it is. Okay, Eric, why don't you introduce yourself as well? Let us know where.
I'm a Silver MBA student. I figured out how to listen to your courses now at 3 and 4x.
Oh, cool.
So I am listening to 2 and 3 sessions a day in an 8-hour setting. Rocketing through there. Awesome. I've run into some difficulty with the Excel spreadsheet, but I'm going to handle that.
Cool.
Wanted to say that before I took your course.
Hold on 1 second. Quick question for you. Okay, Excel, are you using Linux or because it works on Mac and Windows? I remember you were using Linux before.
I tried it on. I haven't tried it on Windows yet. I have tried it on Libre Office Calc.
No, it only works in Excel. Yeah.
I'll take care of it. Don't worry
of course. And if you want, you can always share your screen now or during office hours between 10 and 11 every week with anything Excel related, and I'll walk through walls to help you. But go on. But you were saying something else. I'm sorry about
that. Before your course, I wanted the world to change. Yeah. Now, after taking your course, my world is changing.
Awesome. I love it. You inspire me, man.
Okay, so one of my previous lives, I have not had one career like some people, was cybersecurity. Mm-hmm. And what I found this week was a ginormously huge cyber event. I have now since called it into the feds to let you know. So what's happened is there is something called the solar industry. You may have heard of it. Mm-hmm. And anything that uses lithium batteries, they have to have the GPS turned on.
Okay.
If you turn the GPS off, what do you know? The batteries shut off. Now, my entire career, I thought, that's really weird. But my previous thinking was, if I have the GPS turn off, I have bigger problems than that. So I just kind of blew it off that way because it didn't sit right from the beginning. When I saw the war in Ukraine and I was watching the GPS signals turn on and off as the drones are flying in, I went, holy cow. Yeah. Now, so my question for you is, I've checked many suppliers. Nobody's selling this lithium battery charger for the solar industry. They all come out of China. They've all been compromised. I found this in other devices like medical devices and so on. I think this is a great business opportunity to get into the lithium battery business, and more importantly, the lithium battery management board is the board itself that runs the batteries. And the second part is that 80% of the cost of lithium batteries in this country is shipping from China. If we were to build a plant, say, Florida, with uncompromised BMSs, just was wondering what you thought of that kind of a business plan, because that isn't what I want to focus on, but I really got to raise the red flag on that.
Yeah, absolutely, and thank you for that. I appreciate it. A couple things. Number one, so GPS was designed by the I think it was the IDF in Israel, and it was basically for guided missile research. So there's probably a lot of great technology companies in Tel Aviv you can look at for that. In terms of lithium, what rare minerals need to be mined to go into lithium?
Oh, I'm sorry, you froze up for a second. What was your question again?
What rare minerals do people use in lithium? Like, where is it mined?
There's a new battery that is taking over the industry that has it's classified as green by the European agency. No crazy metals, no toxic things. You can lick it if it breaks. It doesn't explode. It doesn't blow up or anything like that.
Okay. So what I would look at, first of all, is what are the inputs into lithium? If it's a rare mineral, I'm not familiar with it. If it's a rare mineral that needs to be mined, I would look at where is that available in the world. So I would look at all the inputs first, because that could be a big barrier to entry.
Well, actually, most of the minerals are coming out of Florida.
Oh, really?
The phosphate.
Okay. Oh, great. Oh,
we used to be the phosphate capital of the world before it moved to South America.
Okay, right. Cool. It's like fertilizer. Yeah, cool. I didn't realize that. Okay, I can give you a great barrier to entry as well. So next step, I would look at how do you secure, phosphate as an input at a low price so you can scale materially. Yeah. And Eric, when you create your business plan, the Venture Capital Bootcamp in the third semester of the MBA program, I would focus most of your time on the financials. And the reason I say that is because without data, it's just an opinion, and we have to have data to back it up. And so I would look, number one, at the size of the total addressable market, and then I would forecast what your revenue is going to be for the next 10 years, and I can help you with your financial model as well. Yeah, because if you want to raise money from DARPA or from venture capital firms, DARPA is a U.S. government agency, you have to be able to forecast and show the financials as well.
That's why I'm taking your course, baby, and boy, you were rocking it.
Cool, thank you. God bless you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I've been to many MBA schools in my life, and I have to tell you, your course is better than all of them combined times 10.
Thank you. God bless you.
But I have to also say that listening to them at 3 and 4x speeds and parts of them is also a wonderful benefit.
Awesome. No, God bless you and thank you. And I'm so sorry for my awful dad humor in the MBA program. Yeah.
Oh, I love your daddy.
Awesome.
Oh, did you hear about Tiger Woods going to the dentist?
No.
Yeah, his doc said he got a hole in one.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah, hole in his head or something. Yeah. That's right. He's a
dentist.
Oh, he's
he went to the dentist.
Hole in one of his teeth. Yeah. Why do they call it a toothbrush if we have teeth? Like it's just one tooth. I don't get it. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. I haven't gone to the dentist in years.
He told me that joke.
I love it, dude. So I've been trying to whiten my teeth for years, and I went to my dentist ages ago, and she said, drink from a straw your coffee, and so I've been doing that, and my teeth are actually getting whiter because I tried this teeth whitening technology, but it hurts my teeth, man. Yeah, it's painful. I can't sleep. Yeah, so I use a straw. Yeah, cool. Excellent. Thank you. Let's go to Sardar. Sardar, why don't you unmute yourself and introduce yourself? Let us know where you're based and what your career aspirations are so I can humbly help you.
Yeah. Hi, Chris. I'm very, very excited to be here. And actually, I'm your student. I bought your MBA course in Udemy, from Udemy.
Oh, cool.
And I'm halfway through. And to be honest, I'm very excited about the course, about its structure and how it's going from the very seed stage to the very IPO, like initial public offering. My name is Sardar. I'm from Uzbekistan. Okay. It's located in Central Asia. Yep. I'm a first-year student in Westminster International University in Tashkent. Cool. So I have a kind of question that I'm struggling with. I'm based in Uzbekistan, but I want to talk to the investors in United States in order to fund my startup idea.
Yes.
I have a startup idea about swarm intelligence, like swarm robotics.
Okay.
So I'm developing this. I want to design the prototype of this technology to showcase to the potential investors and to present them my idea. But one of the struggles is my project management team. I don't have any team right now. So for now, I'm trying to learn everything myself, like starting from the design of the robot till the programming it, artificial intelligence, like its brain and all of the stuff, and its simulation, and hardware design, etc. And so I need some help to execute this.
Yeah. So a couple things. What I would say is, it's a cliche, but failing to plan is planning to fail. I would write a thorough business plan before doing anything else on your business. Because if you write a thorough business plan, it'll help you uncover all the material risks or gaps you have with your business plan from a go-to-market strategy perspective, etc. And in my MBA program, in the third semester, I have a venture capital bootcamp. You can sign up today at harounmba.com, and I help you write your business plan from scratch. Also, I help you create a 10-slide presentation to help you raise money. And when you raise money, I don't recommend talking to venture capital firms initially. I recommend going after high net worth investors. And the reason I say that is because the sales cycle is quite short. It might be a couple weeks with high net worth investors. If you go to VC companies, it can take many, many months. It's very, very bureaucratic as well. Now, I think the best way to raise money after you write your business plan, I'm happy to help you do that as well in my MBA program. The best way to raise money is to leverage LinkedIn. And I teach you how to network on steroids at the beginning of the MBA program, and find people something common with you. Maybe they went to the same school as you. Maybe they're from Uzbekistan as well, and they work in the venture capital industry, or they work at large tech companies. And I would network with them directly as a way to help you raise capital. And I'll help you. I've had students that have raised. I have one student raise $11.5 million last year for his startup. I will walk through walls to help you as well. Yeah. But what I recommend before you take one step further with your business plan, or pardon me, with your company, your robotics company, write a full business plan first. And that will help you uncover gaps. Okay, like where do you have gaps? Like maybe it sounds like you're technical. Maybe you're more like Steve Wozniak and you need a Steve Jobs, right? So it'll help you understand where the gaps are in your company and skill set, so to speak. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And can we have access to the? Is it recorded, this meeting, or not?
Say it again. Sorry.
This meeting is recorded or not?
This is recorded. Yeah. So this is on YouTube. So the link the link that you're watching this at, you'll have access to that forever. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I never take any of this stuff down. Yeah.
Can I reach you out after some developments, maybe?
Yeah. If you're in my MBA program, you get access to me every single Thursday in Silver from 10 until 11. Okay, that's just for Silver students, a Zoom call. And for those of you in the Silver MBA program, go to the very first lecture to get the link for this week and every week for the Zoom call. If you're in my Gold or Platinum MBA program, I have a 2-hour office hours every Thursday, starting at 11:20 until 1:20. If you're in the Platinum program, you also get one-on-one meetings as well. Yeah. If you're not in any of those things, whatever, I'm happy to answer all questions every week here on this weekly webcast from 8 to 10. Yeah. Cool.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm really, really excited to be your student.
Thank you.
And to meet you online, kind of in person, but online.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Excellent. Cool. Okay. So
thank you very much.
Appreciate that. Thanks. Okay. So I'm going to turn off Zoom for now. And for those in my Silver MBA program, you can join Zoom, and we'll start just after 10 a.m. So let me just close this down. Thank you guys so much, Sardar and Plasty. And let me go back over here. And I'm going to have to wrap this call up in a minute. Okay. All right. Let's see here. YA wrote, how can I get a one-on-one Yeah, so to get a one-on-one, I got to wrap this up, sorry. You got to join my Platinum MBA program. You can go to harounmba.com for more details. Yeah. Okay, great. And I know there's a bunch more questions here. Please save them and ask me them next week or on my office hours webcast at 10 a.m. or 11:20 today, depending on what MBA program you're in. God bless you all. Have a great week. And I'm going to end this webcast like I do every single webcast with the most empowering and motivating interview with Steve Jobs that I licensed from the Silicon Valley Historical Association. This is a life-changing, very short video. God bless you all. Please join me in my open house on Tuesday, January 10th at 5 p.m. Just go to my YouTube channel, Tuesday, January 10th at 5 p.m. Everybody attending will get several prizes each. Thank you and God bless.
When you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way it is, and your life is just to live your life inside the world, try not to bash into the walls too much, try to have a nice family life, have fun, save a little money. But life, that's a very limited life. Life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact, and that is everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it. You can influence it. You can build your own things that other people can use. And the minute that you understand that you can poke life and actually something will, if you push in, something will pop out the other side, that you can change it, you can mold it. That's maybe the most important thing, is to shake off this erroneous notion that life is there and you're just going to live in it, versus embrace it, change it, improve it, make your mark upon it. I think that's very important. And however you learn that, once you learn it, you'll want to change life and make it better, because it's kind of messed up in a lot of ways. Once you learn that, you'll never be the same again.